Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you heard a word I just said. I just looked down and realized my mic was muted. So, let's just start this again. I think you saw the match card. You saw who's facing who, what's you're getting on SmackDown. I don't need to break that down, but I will go over those matches as we get to them. But I did want to talk to you guys. Just a couple of channel updates. Couple of what to expect. You know, what's coming to the channel later on.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Auckland, New Zealand, weighing in at 220 pounds, the Witch Blade, Jay White.
Social media has been buzzing since this match was announced, and I think the competitors plan on delivering on that hype.
So, ladies and gentlemen, where should we start? I guess that's the big question. Well, I guess the biggest thing to announce is Universe Mode for 2K23 is coming to an end. I wanted to try and get you guys 4 seasons of it, maybe even 5 seasons of it, but it doesn't quite look like we're going to be able to do that. I don't think there's enough time. 23 days is a relatively short turnaround. Hold on, let's let the announcers talk first.
And his opponent from Davenport, Iowa, weighing in at 217 pounds, Seth freaking Rollins.
He's held the Intercontinental, the US, the WWE, and the Universal titles, each on multiple occasions.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now that the ring announcers are kind of done, let's continue the conversation. 2K23 is ending. This is essentially not the last SmackDown, but this is the second to last SmackDown. We're going to have, after WrestleMania, we're going to have one more Raw, one more NXT, one more SmackDown. And that's how it's going to be. And I'm going to load up those shows. I'm going to load them up. So you can expect... Hold on. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had to turn my mic down. It's a little bit too loud in my earphones. So, like I was saying, there's going to be the last couple of episodes of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Only because I am confirming now that 2K24 and its Universe Mode are going to be on the way. I already pre-ordered 2K24. It's done. So 2K24 and its Universe Mode will be coming to the channel. We'll be doing that moving forward. So I wanted to finish up this Universe Mode kind of strong. You know, there's still a slight chance, if I do, because, you know, I'm still somewhat on the fence, right? If I do another season of this, because like I said, there are 23 days left, that still feels like a lot of time. But at the same time, with you guys, with me kind of moving my schedule to Fridays and Saturdays only, you guys would essentially only be getting a handful of episodes. So what I might do, if there is to be a season 4, you know, that would be the final season, is instead of doing any episodes of Raw, any episodes of SmackDown, any episodes of NXT, just straight up pay-per-views. Just straight up the PLEs. So you'd get, I think it would be Night of Champions. Maybe I switch that pay-per-view up. You'd get Money in the Bank. You'd get SummerSlam. You'd get Survivor Series. You'd get the Royal Rumble one last time. And then you get the last WrestleMania. And that would essentially be season 4. And I don't have a problem doing that. But the question is that something you guys want to see? If it is, just leave it down in the comments. You know, let's have a real discussion about it. That being said, channel updates. So, in the next 23 days, I'm going to try, and I say try because, ladies and gentlemen, I have been busy with work. When it comes down to it, this is still a side job for me. It's part-time. I do this whenever I have free time, so on my days off. At first, I was really good about, you know, having somewhat of a schedule, you know, and then getting you guys these episodes essentially every day. But then, you know, I started getting really busy with my actual job. So the only thing I can do is promise to try to get you guys more episodes of anything on the channel every day until 2K24. But that being said, with Universe Mode coming to an end, the only thing that we really have left is the God of War series. So I don't know, that's up to you guys. How would you guys want to do? Would you guys want to see me just, you know, get an episode every Friday and Saturday? Would you want me to try and get you guys some more God of War throughout the week? You know, you guys let me know how that's gonna go. But let's talk about 2K23, 2K24. That's what we're really here for. That's what we're really talking about. For 2K24, I am absolutely going to try and go back to that everyday schedule. I really am. That everyday, Monday through Sunday, posting an episode of Universe Mode. Seth Rollins about to get counted out here. What a shame. He barely made it back to the ring.
Here is your winner, the Witch, Blade K. White. And they were not able to beat the refs count this week.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so 2K24, I am going to try and get you guys those episodes every single day. Monday through Sunday. But I'm not promising anything. Only because, you know, this is life. And my schedule it's picked up in recent weeks. And I don't see it slowing down necessarily. But that's more for me to figure out. 2K24, we are going to try and get more episodes. Now, that being said, let's talk about 2K24's Universe Mode. There aren't a lot of updates. 2K hasn't done a lot with Universe Mode. 2K23, I think, is the best version of Universe Mode that we've gotten from 2K. I really do believe that. I believe that it's up there. 2K23's Universe Mode was really good. The things they try to implement, what they try to do, everything we were able to get, and 2K24 looks like it's gonna still be improved. You know, we're gonna get more rivalry not rivalry slots. I'm dreaming of the day that we can get to 5 or 6 rivalry slots and have 5 or 6 rivalries per show. That would literally be a dream of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't even explain to you how much I want that. But we are getting more rivalry options. We'll be seeing more rivalry cutscenes, more stuff done with rivalries. You know, we won't really be able to see what they're expanding upon and what we're given until, of course, we get 2K24 actually in our hands and actually on our screens. But they are putting out updates regularly, at least an update a week. We're getting closer. We are getting closer, but for me, 2K24 can't get here soon enough. It can't get here soon enough. I'm somewhat chomping at the bit to get to that game. Now, that being said, 2K24 is looking to be better than 2K23, if only slightly. So what can you expect in 2K24's universe mode? At least on this channel. You know, what are we going to do different? Number one thing, all the creator wrestlers, all the CODs that, you know, I'm not going to say known for. I feel like a lot of people do this. But what I try to do is I put AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan. I try to put as many of those known wrestlers, like top wrestlers, in universe mode. You can expect that same thing in 2K24. You know, when it comes to the creation suite for universe mode, not for universe mode, but for the 2K, the creation suite is literally the life support of the 2K games. If you need a wrestler, the creation community really kind of takes over. So you can expect more of those guys. Expect to see at some point a Will Ospreay. Expect to at some point to see Kenny Omega in 2K24. But of course, because I'll be getting the game, those initial first few months, the life won't really be there. You know, that's when everyone is kind of testing out the creation suite, seeing what they can and can't do. You know, some guys are going to hurry up and just make the wrestlers as quick as possible. But I've never one to get the earliest creations. I like waiting until certain guys who I follow, and I follow them on Twitter, I wait for them to kind of create the wrestlers, and then I will download them. You know, a lot of the creator wrestlers you see that I have come from the Iconics 2K, and he is great at making the AEW roster. He has a full AEW roster. It's a beautiful roster. He always, I don't know if it's every year, but when it came to 2K23, he went crazy. Went crazy and just made a whole roster of AEW guys, and they all look really good. Really good. So expect to see the creator superstars in universe mode, but at first, it will be just basically WWE guys. Another huge update that I'm going to do, I'm going to try and do shorter shows. You know, looking at the history of my channel and looking at what did and didn't work as far as universe mode comes, it seems you guys like the more shorter episodes than the longer, damn near 3-hour episodes. So I'm going to try and make that as much a reality as possible. And that will include pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever you want to call them. So WrestleMania could still be a 14-match card in universe mode, but when it comes, and maybe even the Royal Rumble, you know, maybe Survivor Series 2, and maybe even SummerSlam, you know, the big four, big five, including Money in the Bank, those could still be 14-match cards, but everything else, any other PLEs, I am going to do a hard brand split between Raw and SmackDown. So there will be Raw exclusive PLEs, there will be SmackDown exclusive PLEs, but with that being said, what about NXT? Because if you pay attention just now, I left NXT out. For 2K24, as far as right now, prior to the game's release, I will not be doing NXT. That means that I will have a stacked Raw and a stacked SmackDown as far as the rosters go, and they will be stacked. there will be superstars who you're probably hoping to see, who after a while probably kind of disappear and fall into the background. But when it comes to doing the 3 shows, that's probably going to stop. It'll probably be a Raw episode of Raw, and then an episode of SmackDown, and then an episode of Raw, episode of SmackDown, and then a Raw exclusive pay-per-view, and then maybe a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. You know, that you can expect to see. You know, that's probably how I'm going to end up doing 2K24's Universe mode. And then when I add all the AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan guys, it's going to get real crowded on these brands. So if I end up bringing in NXT, it's because I literally have... the rosters are just too thick. It's too thick and there's not enough guys. But that brings up a question of what do I want to see in 2K24? We're 23 days away from it. It's on the way. We're about to get the game. We're about to be able to finish our story. What do I want to see in 2K24? And then also, what am I going to do for 2K24? Am I just going to do Universe mode? To answer that question really quick, no. I'm not just going to do Universe mode for 2K24. For 2K24, you're getting the full experience. I'm going all the way with it. I'm going to do the men's My Rise, the women's My Rise. I'm going to do the 40 years of WrestleMania, and I'm probably going to stream all of it for the channel. And then, of course, you'll get the episodes of Universe mode. When it comes to 2K24, I'm probably about to go all in. You're probably about to get all of it. So what do I want to see from 2K24? 2K24 has given us new match types. If you're staying out of the loop and you don't know what 2K24 is about to bring in, let me just really quick. They've updated the blood. And I know it's crazy that I'm starting with the blood mechanic, right? But they have updated that. The blood mechanic in 2K24 is getting a massive update, where literally blood is going to be back on the mats. It's going to be jumping off the wrestlers when the wrestlers get hit. There's going to be blood on people's chests, blood on, you know, the mat and on the floor when the wrestlers lay down on their face. Are they going to have like a face full of blood like in the old Raw vs. SmackDown games? That I don't know, but it does look there's going to be a lot of it. So that is really cool. I'm glad to see that they've updated that. It's something that I didn't think they were ever going to update because WWE is a very PG product and they have, you know, avoided blood as much as possible. Every once in a while you'll get a segment where someone is actually busted open or someone's bleeding from their mouth, but you don't really see it like that, especially not in the video games anymore. But it looks like they're going to be doing that, and that's going to be pretty cool. New match types. Let's definitely talk about the new match types. Let's get into the real meat of the game. We're getting gauntlet matches, which I am very excited for. You might even see a gauntlet match in the first episode of Universe Mode of 2K24. That is probably going to happen very early on. Special guest referee. I'm super excited for special guest referee. That's gonna be a fun time. I can't wait to see what rivalries we set up that are going to include a guest referee. You know, that should be fun. Let's go back to the gauntlet matches really quick, and even include the special guest referee. They haven't confirmed if they're going to be tag teams. You know, if you've been on this channel long enough, or you've been with me long enough, you know I love tag team wrestling. I think it's very underrated, especially in WWE. I think it's very it's awesome. It's really great, you know. So, you know, tag team wrestling is it's great. It's really awesome. It's really underrated. Having 4 guys out there working their asses off and really, you know, fighting. You know, and then there's so much. If you go back to NXT Black and Gold, and you go back to like all of the DIY versus the Revival, DIY and the Revival versus the Authors of Pain, that is probably my favorite era of tag team wrestling. Which is why it kind of irks me that WWE's women's tag division is struggling the way it does, because especially with Triple H being the head writer of WWE now, because it's like, just give us the great tag matches that we know we can get. And it's not like we haven't, you know, we got the Usos, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, we got them at Mania. You know, we had a great, I think it was at Payback, the Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That was a great tag team match. That was fun. So that brings back to, you know, 2K24. They haven't, you know, shown us that we can get tag team gauntlet matches or even tag team special guest referee matches. We don't even know if we can get fatal 4-way special guest referee, triple threat. We don't know the limit to where special guest referee is coming in. We don't know the limit. But I'm hopeful. You know, I'm very hopeful that we do get those kind of matches because, again, I love tag wrestling. I'd love to see that be a thing. So let's get to the other match types that are in 2K24, besides gauntlet matches and special guest referee. You know, just kind of the hope that we get tag matches for those two. They haven't shown that we'll get them, but hopefully we do. So let's move on to the next ones. An ambulance match and a casket match. We're getting ambulance matches and casket matches, and again, for Universe Mode in 2K24, expect to see that. There's like no joke. Expect to see ambulance matches. Expect to see, what was I saying, casket matches. You know, I don't know how often I'll be doing those in Universe Mode. You know, I'm a person who believes like those kind of matches are only special when you do them rarely. You know, when it comes to like matches like the Royal Rumble and Hell in a Cell and even War Games, those matches, less Hell in a Cell, but like Royal Rumble and War Games, those as an annual match, you know, happening once a year, that's perfect. Don't do that more than once a year. Same with Elimination Chamber. Do that once a year and then leave that alone. Hell in a Cell should only happen during special rivalries. If you've been on this channel, you know that I don't just pop out Hell in a Cell matches. You get Hell in a Cell matches maybe once a season. Maybe twice a season if I really feel like doing it. But only if the rivalry truly deserves it, you know? So when it comes to ambulance matches and casket matches, when it comes to Universe Mode in 2K24, don't expect to get those every other show, like at all. Like at first, I'm probably gonna like really want to do them like immediately because even I'm excited to get those matches, but don't, and especially once we start moving into the later seasons, those are going to become rarities, where you see those once in a while. Now, what else can we talk about when it comes to 2K24? Things I'm excited to see, and things I'm really hopeful will be in the game. The camera. There has been a lot of hype around the fact that you can now switch the camera in 2K24 to the ramp. You know, it's kind of a big thing. If you look at the game right now, you're watching the gameplay in the background, you're seeing this tag team match. This is cool. But there is going to be a way where in 2K24, you'll switch the camera and you'll see it from a different angle. You'll see it from the ramp to the ring. And that I'm excited for because there are a lot of arenas, especially in the games, where they have this really cool arena, but you can only really see the ringside area through the hard camera. I can't wait to get to the ramp camera, and because if in universe mode, that's probably mainly what the camera is going to be. It's going to be the ramp camera. It's going to go back to that old school, here comes the pain feeling. So matches like this, you'll be seeing from a different angle. Especially when it comes to simulation matches like I do on the channel, where we just kind of sit together and we watch these matches. You know, expect to kind of see that. So I guess another thing we can talk about, let's get back into universe mode a little bit more. And what else you can expect that we'll see. I really won't know what I'm going to do with universe mode until I get my hands on the game. But I can give you guys a vague idea of what I'm already kind of planning. I already mentioned that there won't be NXT in 2K24. Don't expect to see NXT. NXT is going to be a distant brand. It's going to be a 2K23 brand only. Moving to 2K24, you're not getting NXT. You'll get Raw, you'll get SmackDown. So what championships are we going to see? Well, we're going to stay somewhat true to form, and I've always tried to keep the more modern championships. So, the World Heavyweight Championship, the current World Heavyweight Championship, the one that Seth Rollins in real life currently has, I already know that it's in the game. You know, it's definitely in the game, because we've seen the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and we've seen the Women's WWE Championship. You know, in all the releases, all the images and all the gameplay footage that have come out so far, those have been shown. So you can expect that the World Heavyweight that Seth Rollins currently has, and the WWE Championship that Roman Reigns currently has, those are definitely in the game. The current plan is for the World Heavyweight Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and the Women's Tag Team Championships. Those are all going to be SmackDown exclusive championships. That is the current plan. I'm not sure about the roster, so don't ask me who's going to be on SmackDown, who's going to be the top guy. Because what I love to do every year, I do it at the beginning of every universe mode, is I strip all the champions. I put the championships on certain brands. I create the divisions individually. And you know, the first episode of universe mode for 2K24, expect that. That's definitely going to be a thing. That's probably going to be like the first thing we do, is set up the universe mode moving forward. You know, if you guys are actually with me and watching that episode when I initially created, then, you know, of course, give your inputs. You know, say who you want to see on the roster, challenging for what championship. But I already have a vague idea of what I'm doing, or what I'm going to do. But I will be taking any input, this is who we want to see on this brand. But expect to see those specific championships on SmackDown. Which means that the WWE Championship, the United States Championship, the Raw Tag Team Championships, the WWE Women's Championship, those are all going to be Raw exclusive titles. And I'm going to try to find another championship to somewhat balance the championships, because I just mentioned that SmackDown's going to have like 5 different championship, what is it? Divisions? Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. 5 different championship divisions. So expect there's probably going to be a 5th championship that I add to Raw to somewhat balance the divisions between the brands. Maybe a cruiserweight title, because I love cruiserweight wrestling too. I'm really weird like that. I love women's tag team wrestling when it's good. I love cruiserweight wrestling because that's always been good. It just hasn't been given its shine. And so there's probably going to be a cruiserweight title on Raw. So I guess it comes back to which championships exactly. Because I just mentioned that the current World Heavyweight Championship is going to be on SmackDown. What about the WWE Championship? The current one that Roman Reigns is holding. Is that actually going to be the championship on Raw? And the answer is yes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look back through the history of the season mode, I used to have, and I still have it, the current WWE Championship, or the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. We're calling it the WWE Championship because it's easier. That used to be the main championship in Universe Mode too. I only retired it because the current champion at the time in Universe Mode was Bray Wyatt. And then in real life, Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, rest in peace, he passed away. And I just felt that it was proper, I felt it was respectful to somewhat retire Wyndham's character of Bray Wyatt and retire the title that he won, because if in Universe Mode, Bray Wyatt won the Royal Rumble. He went to WrestleMania. He beat Kenny Omega for the title. And he became the champion. And I had big plans for Bray Wyatt. I really did. But then he passed away in real life. And I kind of wanted to pay my respect to him because he was one of my favorite, wrestlers. One of my favorite superstars. I always loved his creative mind and what he did. So I felt it was necessary to retire that character. But in 2K24, I will not be retiring that championship. That championship will be on Raw. It will be the main championship on Raw. But again, there won't be a definitive, this is the first champion. It's not going to be Cody Rhodes. And that's another thing. When it comes to 2K23, the 2K23 Universe Mode, when it ends, it ends. There isn't going to be some continuation heading into 2K24, where you see the current champions in 24 with their current titles. When we end 2K23, that's it.
Here are your winners.
That's about as perfect an example of tag team wrestling you're ever likely to see.
What was I saying? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. When we end 2K23, that's it. So every champion you're seeing right now, these are going to be the champions for 2K23. When the series ends, and it is ending soon, whoever is champion at the end of the series, they will be known as the champions for this series. What a team. Oh my god. Kota Ibushi and Kazuchika Okada. taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't have booked that more perfectly. I didn't book it at all, you know. And that's another thing that I kind of want to see in 2K24 is the ability to edit the people in the rivalries. Because I can give you Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens versus the Blackpool Combat Club. You know, that's our match heading into Mania. But when it comes to the rivalries and who shows up on the shows, I can't edit that. If I get a chance to be able to edit that moving forward, I'd love that so much. Another thing I would love to see make its return. There's a couple of things I want to see make its return. One thing I'd love to see make its return, absolutely, is promos. Though I doubt we are ever going to see promos in a WWE 2K game again. At least not the way we had them back in 2K19 and 2K20. From what I've gathered, and I don't know if 2K ever came out and straight up said that this was the case, but this is what a lot of the creators in the community have kind of come to understand, are that the promos that were in Universe Mode were the causes of a lot of glitches and crashes in those games. And the only way to truly fix it was to remove it. If we get promos back in the games, it will probably be in rivalry reactions.
And their opponents, first from Tokyo, Japan, weighing in at 254 pounds, Kaiba.
The feelings, the electricity in the arena right now is unlike anything.
You know, if we ever get promos back, like I said, it'll probably be in rivalry reactions. So I'm curious to see exactly how they do it, but I don't know if that's something we are gonna get. You know, that's probably something that if, you know, we keep asking the devs at 2K, we'll probably get in like 2K25, maybe even 2K26. Whatever game moves to current gen, and then, you know, when I say current gen, I mean PS5 and Xbox Series X. You know, that current gen. When we move to fully current gen, I can probably see them moving like promos back in some way, shape, or form, and us getting that. Another thing I would really love to see that I don't know is in 2K24, only because they hadn't said anything about it being back, are show intros.
And from Japan, weighing in at 208 pounds, Goldman, Colt Bush.
If we somehow got show intros back in the game, I'd be a happy man. I really would. I'd love it to see, especially because this is like something I really wanted. Not just show intros, but the ability to create a show intro. If we can create our own show intros for Raw or SmackDown or NXT, or, I mean, if you're a universe creator, there are other people out there who do AEW universe modes or their own custom universe modes, you know? I'd love to see us be able to edit our own show intros. You know, with the current superstars we have on the roster, I'd love that. Do I think we're going to get that? If we ask nicely, eventually maybe. Are we getting that in 2K24? I have no idea. Maybe, possibly. They've not said anything about it. I can be hopeful. Another thing I'd love to see them bring back in universe mode: tournaments. I think it was maybe about 10 years ago now, for 2K14. I don't think it was in 2K15. I think it was in 2K14. Maybe it was in 2K15. I don't think so, because that game was so bare bones. But maybe 2K16. I don't know. I think the last one was 2K14. That's when we had tournaments in Universe Mode. Mind you, at the time, there was only one tournament, and that was King of the Ring. And I think the reason they removed tournaments from Universe Mode is the same problem with promos. It used to crash the game and glitch out the game. So maybe if when they fully move to current gen and they're, you know, done putting the games on PS4 and Xbox One, when they're done putting the 2K games on those series, maybe we do move over to putting tournaments and custom show intros and promos. Maybe they move over to having those in just current gen. But for now, I can't see them doing it. But I'd love to have tournaments back in 2K24 or the 2K series moving forward. When it comes to 2K24, I don't think we're getting it at all. But it would be nice to have it there. What else would I love to see in Universe Mode? Rivalry slots. Now this one I'm a little less forgiving. Because just give me more rivalry slots in Universe Mode. Just give me more. If it crashes and glitches the game, come on, you can find a way to patch that. I feel like you can. You know, I am very forgiving with some of these things. Some of these things I am understanding because, you know, it is what it is. But when it comes to the rivalry slots, for years we only had 3. For years we only had 3 rivalry slots. And that was fine, but at the same time, it kinda sucked, you know? You know, they have made huge updates with Universe Mode. That needs to be addressed. They've made huge updates with Universe Mode, and Universe Mode has come a long way. Some people don't remember how bad Universe Mode used to kind of be. Universe Mode was very bare bones for a long time. For a long time. And every year, 2K has done something to give us necessary movements to Universe Mode. You know, like last year, no, not even last year, this year, for 2K23, they put War Games in Universe Mode. Now, when they announced War Games was coming to 2K23, I did not expect, I did not think that we were going to get it at all. And then we did. And I was super excited, super happy about it. And for next year, for 2K24, they're giving us ambulance matches, casket matches, gauntlet matches, special guest referee matches. We're getting all of that in Universe Mode too. You know, eventually when it came to Universe Mode, they gave us the 4 rivalry slots. So 2K is always adding something to Universe Mode, but it's this constant struggle of they add something, but then they take something away. You know? I would love to see them add more rivalry slots. This one I'm a lot less forgiving because it's like for 2K24 you're adding these match types to the mode, but what else are you adding to Universe Mode? Universe Mode in a lot of ways is kind of that unloved stepchild in the 2K games, or at least it feels like it, where it's like Universe Mode kind of gets shafted by all the new modes and all the new stuff that comes out every year for the 2K games. You know, for this year we're getting 40 years of WrestleMania. I'm excited about that. You know, 2K14 gave us 30 years of WrestleMania. And that mode was, first of all, 2K14, in my opinion, is probably still the best 2K game ever to come out. Technically, that was still TKO. I think TKO was the guys who made that game. That was still technically their project. 2K was just able to put their name on it. But with that being said, with that being said, damn it, what was I just about to say? With that being said, Universe Mode, it kind of doesn't get the same love and attention I feel that all the other modes get. I'd love it if 2K24, and I doubt they'll do it for 2K24, so maybe 2K25, I love to just see them add a ton of things to it. You know, more rivalry slots, number one. At least 6. At least 6. And I say 6, I'm skipping 5 rivalries because I'm skipping 5 rivalries just because 5 rivalries would be good. You know, I would accept just, 5 rivalries on the show. But when I look at the Universe Mode and you're booking a show, you're booking the rivalries, 4 rivalry slots are really only enough to book the main championships. You got the world title feud, the tag team title feud, the, mid-card title feud, and then the women's title feud. These are the championship feuds that they kind of book for the, every year in the Universe Mode. Or every, pay-per-view, heading into every PLE, whatever you want to say. I'd love it if we got like 5 or 6, because then we can still book those 4 main championship feuds, but with a 5th rivalry slot, and even a 6th rivalry slot, okay, now we can also book just 2 rivalries, and we can have just 2 rivalries going, and we get to use more of our roster and have more of our roster really in feuds. If we had 6 rivalry slots, and let's say we're only putting 2 shows on a PLE, right, with 6 rivalry slots, and let's say we have all 6 rivalry slots completely filled. When it comes to PLEs and pay-per-views in Universe Mode, we can go up to 14 matches. Now, not everyone is booking 14 matches per show. I feel like I may be the one fool in all of the Universe Mode creation who is booking just straight up 14 different matches, which I don't think always works. I feel like some people see a 3-hour, 4-hour show and they're like, sir, I don't have 3 or 4 hours to give you. I can give you an hour of my time and that's about it. Which is again why I'm moving to Raw and SmackDown exclusive PLEs for 2K24. But with 6 rivalry slots on Raw and SmackDown heading into a PLE, you can easily in one pay-per-view cover all your rivalries on 2 different brands. Any PLE you have can just go up to 14. So let's say for WrestleMania, I only book Raw. Raw is the only pay-per-view on WrestleMania. I can still book 14 matches, but only 6 of them would be rivalries. That works a lot better. Because then I can have a show that literally only has 6 or 7 matches on it for a pay-per-view, even just Raw or SmackDown itself, 6 or 7 matches, but all of them are rivalries, which means I'm using more of my roster, which means more of my guys get, time to shine. with only 4 rivalries, it leads to a situation of some guys just get left out. Which kind of sucks when, like, let's say I'm trying to build up Braun Breaker, right? I'm building up Braun Breaker. I want Braun Breaker to be the face of one of my brands. It's hard to build up Braun Breaker when, let's say, I don't want to book him in a championship match, right? I'm not booking him in a championship title match at all. And at least 2 of those rivalries are for the tag team and the women's championship. He's not about to be in either of those. So that leaves the world heavyweight. Let's say I don't think he's ready for that. And then we got the mid-card championship, let's say the U.S. title. I don't feel that Braun Breaker has earned a U.S. championship match, right? And then, of course, you know, this is universe mode. Just throw him in the match. I can, but I kind of want it to be a bit authentic, you know? Kind of feel that he's really earned that match. And so it would be great to have, like I said, I would take 5 rivalry slots. 6, it would be perfect. But 5 rivalry slots, I'll accept that. If we're getting a new rivalry slot every year, that would be good. If we had 5, I could still book Braun Breaker in a feud. And, you know, just call it, this is the #1 contenders feud for the U.S. title. U.S. title is going to be on the line, and then, you know, it would just be a lot better moving forward. Instead of having a random challenger kind of come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden this person is now challenging for the championship. Because at least when I do that, I sit there and I'm like, where did this guy come from? Like, okay, for instance, prime example, Sami Zayn just challenged for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series in Season 3 of this universe mode, right? At Survivor Series, he had challenged for the WWE Championship. He challenged Seth Rollins. Where did that come from? I just kind of threw him in there. It would have been a lot nicer had he earned that spot. You know? If I could, like, made the show, put him in the rivalry, because then I would have made the rivalry be, like, heading into, whatever pay-per-view, SummerSlam, right? Right before Survivor Series. Alright, Sami Zayn and Jay White, they're gonna have a rivalry match. Winner of that match will go on to Survivor Series and challenge for the WWE Championship. Sami Zayn won, he gets that match. But the problem is, I already had 4 rivalries booked for SummerSlam on SmackDown. You know, I was trying to book the tag team rivalry, which I was still building up to the Blackpool Combat Club taking on the Elite at Survivor Series, so that was done. The WWE Championship, Seth Rollins was defending his title. I forget against who, doesn't matter. The Intercontinental Championship, which I think instead of putting that on the line, I switched that out for its own rivalry. And then, of course, the Women's Championship match. You know, 5 rivalry slots would be better. That's all I'm saying. But 6 rivalry slots would be perfect. You know, you can book 6 different feuds, 6 different rivalries. I think 6 rivalry slots would be essentially better. 5 would be fine, 6 would be better. But that being said, 2K has not confirmed if we're getting that at all. And to me, that's kind of a bummer, because it's like, why can't we have nice things? Why aren't we getting that for Universe Mode? You know, when it comes to Universe Mode, but that being said, I'm not a creator when it comes to these games. I'm not on the dev team. I can't tell you the reasons why we're not getting certain things. All I can say is that it would be nice to have it, especially at some point. At some point, it would be nice to get 5 or 6 rivalry slots. Hopefully, because this is another thing, 2K hasn't confirmed that we're not getting that. I don't think we are, but maybe we are. Maybe they just surprise us and we look on the rivalry slots and all of a sudden, bam, we've got 5 or 6 rivalry slots. Then we can see more rivalries per show. And that being said, we get shorter shows. Instead of me having to book 6 or 7, matches per show, we'd only get 6 matches per show, but every match would be a rivalry. Alright, we're down to our last 3 matches, and I've been talking a long time. Paige versus Mia Yim. This should be good. I think this will be good. 1 second.
Let's see what she can do.
The following is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from North
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Throat was getting dry. Had to take a sip of something. Had to take a sip of something because my throat was starting to kill me a little bit. See, this is why I stopped doing commentary for these shows, because my throat would start killing me during the commentary. I don't see how the commentators do this. There are people who just sit on here and talk for 2 hours straight, don't even bat an eye. It's like no big deal. They do it for years at a time. Okay, but that being said, what else do I want to see in 2K24? I'm done ranting about wanting 5 or 6 rivalry slots. I think that would be better. That's all I'm going to say. Just end that right there. I think that would be better. But that being said, 2K24 is looking stacked. Let's get back to talking positives instead of talking about what 2K24 might not have and the slight possible disappointment that I'll be feeling looking at Universe Mode and seeing the little things that we don't get. Let's talk about the positives. Let's talk about what we are going to get. 200 plus superstars. Now, 2K didn't confirm if that was going to be at launch or if that 200 plus is going to come about once all the DLC for the game is out, right? Either way, the game is looking stacked. The rosters already are looking stacked. But, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this now. When it comes to Universe Mode, don't expect to see... maybe as like a surprise, on an episode of Raw or SmackDown, I might surprise you guys and just throw a Hulk Hogan match in there, where Hogan wins, lol. But don't expect to see wrestlers from the 80s and 90s. When I do Universe Mode, I like to stick to specific eras. And that being said, right now I'm very high on the current era of wrestling. Right now in wrestling is beautiful, right? And right now in wrestling, when it comes to AEW, when it comes to Ring of Honor and New Japan and WWE, right now wrestling is the best it's ever been. It's not, a lot of people talk about the Attitude Era, the era they grew up in and how great that was. And it was pretty good. You had Austin, you had Rock, you had Angle and Taker and Kane, and then you had great matches. Everyone talks about the main event of WrestleMania X7, Austin versus Rock, and how great that was. You talk about, is SummerSlam 02 technically Attitude Era, or is that more Ruthless Aggression? Yeah, either way, that great pay-per-view itself, you know, you had guys like Angle and Rey Mysterio having the greatest opening to a wrestling pay-per-view of all time. You know, you had new guys like Brock Lesnar coming in and having a great match with The Rock, winning the WWE Championship after only a couple of months. Rob Van Dam was out here going crazy. Speaking of going crazy, you had Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, you had Hardys. They were all going crazy in their TLC matches that they had at every WrestleMania and at some SummerSlams. Great era of wrestling, but right now, the wrestling era, I feel, is just as strong. And I like to reflect that in universe mode. I like to put my own spin on it by putting certain people, certain wrestlers in, you know, certain spots, on certain brands. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my hand just went numb for a second. It's fine. I'm good. Just slight observation. Kind of freaked me out for a second. Back to what I was saying. When it comes to universe mode, expect us to stay in the modern era. I won't be doing a ruthless aggression universe mode. I'm sure there are people out there who will be doing that. But don't expect an attitude era or a golden era. You know, I won't be doing those either. I like to stay in the modern era. The modern era of wrestling, but I like to put my own spin on it, you know? I like to keep the championships that are current day, but that being said, I wish the tag team titles would get a huge facelift. Seriously, WWE has had some great models for their tag titles, you know, some great looking belts over the years. I don't think they got any better than the Attitude Era championships, though. Those Attitude Era tag team titles were beautiful. And I'd love it if WWE would just, for Raw and SmackDown, give us, right, like you have the SmackDown Women's Championship, the Raw Women's Championship, and then they updated those titles and made them the Women's World Heavyweight and the Women's WWE Championship. Just with the tag titles, give us a World Tag Team Championships and then the WWE Tag Team Championships. Go back to those original names, but give us new designs. And they can be plays on the 02 to like, what year was it? 02 to 2010, I think. You know, those original championships. But yeah, I like to stay with the more modern titles, so expect to see those. Will I be doing any title unifications? Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch the channel, then you kind of saw, in a way, I didn't really unify any titles, I don't think. But I did have one, when like season 2, the only main championship was the World Heavyweight Championship. That was the only main world title. And then eventually for season 3, I brought back the WWE Championship, which was a last minute decision. I'll tell you guys that now. That was a last minute kind of reintroduced the WWE Championship. And it was the older belt for it. Damn it, what was I saying? See, ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem. I start ranting and I completely forget what I'm talking about. I have that problem. I have it too much. I was talking about how I only had one world title. Title unifications. Alright, that was the subject I was on. Title unifications. I'm not unifying any titles. I know that they just added a whole, there's going to be a double championships in universe mode. They finally patched that in. And for me, that's great. It is, but you're kind of a year too late. You know what I mean? That's something that 2K should have absolutely had in 2K23. Because for most of 2K23, Roman Reigns was coming out with the WWE and the Universal Championship before he only had the one belt. Now it's back to there's only one belt on Raw, there's only one belt on SmackDown. So even though we can have double champions, that's kind of a year too late. So no, don't expect any title unifications. I don't like title unifications. I don't think I've ever liked title unifications. Whenever titles were unified, it was always kind of this dumb thing to me. I was like, you're taking the main world title away from a whole brand, and you're making a whole brand, basically a whole main event brand, kind of essentially mid-carders. Like when they did that in 2013, I hated it. I was only like 14 at the time, but I hated it when they did it in 2013. They took away the World Heavyweight Championship and they unified it with the WWE Championship. I hated it. I really did. You know, it had great moments when the titles were unified, like Bryan Danielson winning the title at WrestleMania. That was still a great moment. When he beat Batista and Randy Orton and had both championships. That was great. When Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena at SummerSlam and had both championships, he looked great. But then shortly after that, he only had one belt. And then I feel like title unifications are kind of stupid just because it always leads to a secondary world championship coming back. You know what I mean? Like, back when there was only one championship in 2002, it was only the WWE Championship, right? It was the undisputed WWE Championship. And then it became a SmackDown exclusive championship. So what did they do for Raw? They debuted the World Heavyweight Championship. And that was the case for years, where there are two world titles, until 2013 when they reunified those titles again. And then that was great. But then in 2016, there was only the WWE Championship because the titles got unified. Again, only the WWE Championship. And then what did they do? They debuted the Universal Championship. And then you had both those championships for a little while. And then they got unified at WrestleMania 38 with Roman Reigns, who is still the champion after 4 years. And so what did they do? They unified the titles. On SmackDown, after Roman Reigns' 1,000-day celebration, they gave him one championship, the WWE Championship, and they re-debuted the World Heavyweight Championship. It's stupid. They do it every so often, where they unify the titles and it's this huge, major, big deal. And then a couple of years, if not a couple of months later, they are showing off a second world title. Yeah, we're not doing title unifications in universe mode. I don't believe in it. I think it's stupid. And probably the prime example of how it kind of screws over a division right now, just look at the tag team division in WWE. It's struggling. It's struggling majorly. If, you know, the Raw and SmackDown tag titles were kind of divided, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships right now, you know, it just works better. And that's why I like having it split. I think I did, no, I'll tell you what I did. I unified the tag team titles on Raw and SmackDown in Universe mode. And then after a while, I was like, I have a whole tag division on SmackDown that's kind of suffering. In fact, it's making both the Raw and SmackDown divisions suffer. All I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, just to make a long story short, and I've kind of ranted on this long enough, don't expect to see unification matches. At least not in my universe mode. I'm not doing it. When we get universe mode for 2K24, it's going to be a hard brand split. When I say a hard brand split, I mean like the brand split that happened 2002 up until 2011. I think it was 2011 where they kind of did away with the brand split. And you started seeing SmackDown guys appear on Raw and Raw guys appear on SmackDown, right? In Universe mode, I believe in hard brand splits. And I'm kind of I kind of did away with that in Season 2 of this Universe mode. And I've kind of shifted back to it for Season 3. But with so little time before 2K24, there wasn't enough time to really explore that divided roster. In 2K24, there will be a hard brand split, 2 rosters, people will be separated. And when I say people, like to give you an idea, I will be separating someone like Jimmy and Jey Uso. That will be keeping. Expect to see Jey Uso on SmackDown and Jimmy Uso on Raw. You know, that probably is going to stay. So then I guess the question becomes, well, what are the identities of the shows? So, when I say what are the identities of the shows, what are the identities of the Raw and the SmackDown you'll be seeing? Because, ladies and gentlemen, what I do want for the channel very much are kind of going back to that initial we only like SmackDown, or even that we only like Raw and we're only watching Raw, we're only watching SmackDown. I'd love for that on my channel, where there are dedicated SmackDown guys, there are dedicated Raw guys, and if I was to get an NXT, I'd also love very much a dedicated, you know, where I'm not doing NXT, but let's just say I did do an NXT. And I really wish I could have done it for 2K23, but, you know, it is what it is, where certain people only watch certain shows. Does that mean certain shows are going to suffer? Sure. But then that kind of falls back on me to say, okay, more people like watching SmackDown than they like watching Raw. Alright. Okay. So tune into Raw, because Raw is going to have a stacked card. You know, that's something for me to kind of figure out. It kind of motivates me to book a better Raw and then book a better SmackDown. You know? But I'd love for, you know, the people who come to my channel to say, oh no, I only really watch when he does SmackDown, because I like the superstars who are on SmackDown more than I like superstars on Raw. It's about the show's identity. So in Universe mode, I try to very much keep it like SmackDown is the wrestling show. You know? On SmackDown, you have hard wrestlers on SmackDown. You know, you've got your Bryan Danielsons, your Kenny Omegas, your Kota Ibushi's, your Kazuchika Okadas, your Will Ospreays, even your Jon Moxleys, your Claudio Castagnoli's, your Wheeler Yuta's. They're all on SmackDown. Switchblade Jay White, the Guns, Austin and Colton, Rock Hard Juice Robinson, they're all on SmackDown. So what does that make Raw? Raw is more of the entertainment show. You know, that's where you have your Cody Rhodes, your Bobby Lashley, your Drew McIntyre, your Roman Reigns, Randy Orton. You know, that's kind of the star full of top stars, you know. I kind of want to try and redo that in 2K24, but in a way make it better. Now, is that going to work out? I have no idea. But, you know, that's something that I would love to try. And when it comes to universe mode, and this is why I do kind of get upset at 2K every year when it comes to universe mode, because it's like, I wish that we could, because they call universe mode a sandbox, and it's really not a sandbox. It's really kind of just a show simulator. That's really what universe mode is. It's a show simulator. You know, I'd love for universe mode, if it was a sandbox, we could... This gets into something that I would really love. Something that I think 2K should do, and it feels like they are kind of moving in that direction, but they're limited in what they can do. I'd love it if, because we all, every year, we all talk about Create a Story coming back, right? I'd love Create a Story elements brought into universe mode. I don't know what that was. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, something distracted me. I'd love to have Create a Story elements in universe mode. And they're kind of heading in that direction, right? You know, when you see cutscenes like this, right now Bryan Danielson, he's about to attack Jey Uso, right? Well, you know, we've seen this. First things first, if they gave us a ridiculous amount of cutscenes, so instead of seeing the same 30 cutscenes that we see all the time, because that's really what we get the same 30 cutscenes. You know, there's only so many different ways that I can show you guys. That's where, you know, 2K23, it's at the end of its life cycle. We've seen all the cutscenes. We've seen them a lot, and they are becoming repetitive. How many times are we going to see CM Punk shake the hand of Samoa Joe in our universe mode, but then you replace Samoa Joe and CM Punk with a dozen people, right? A dozen different people, huge roster full of people. It becomes the same scene. I'd love it if Create a Story elements were brought into universe mode. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, for a second, that the old 2013 WWE 12, I think WWE 13 was the last year we got it, right? Create a Story, I think that was the last year we got it. Maybe 2K14 was the last year we got Create a Story. But I really think it was WWE 13 was the last year we got it. Just imagine if the devs put all of that, you know, you create your own scenes, your own scenarios, you pick who comes out. Imagine if they put all of that in universe mode. First of all, for me, for someone like me, a creator, especially a new creator like me, that would just make it so much fun, because then all the rivalries that we could actually book, the crazy scenes that we could see. You know, they're giving us new scenes. They didn't say, I don't think they said how many we were getting this year. it's definitely going to be more than 100, I hope. Is that going to be the case? I don't know. By the time 2K24 is at the end of its life cycle, we're probably going to be like, this is like just as bad as 2K20. Not bad, but like, it's the same repetitive stuff as 2K23, right? I really do hope that at some point we get a scenario where it's like all of the different cutscenes, all of the different stuff that we want to see are in universe mode. If they really wanted to make it our sandbox, then it would really be like, alright, first of all, here are all of the different rivalries you have. And like literally name the rivalries, like let's say there's a loser leaves town rivalry. And every week, let's say you book that as your main rivalry, and every week, you got your Raw guy, you got your two rivals, let's say it's CM Punk and Samoa Joe, loser leaves town rivalry. It's very simple. Samoa Joe is the WWE champion, CM Punk, if he loses, he leaves town. He has to go to Raw. And every week, the cutscenes kind of push towards that image. You had commentary talking about that exact scenario. And maybe even a general manager pops out. Let's say we get to book who comes out as our general manager for the show. And he says, if this guy loses, he's going to a different show. And every week it was just leading to that. Let's say and the WWE, they've had some absolutely crazy rivalries over the decades. When you think about it, WWE has to come up with a new type of rivalry and new storylines essentially every month or every other month. Why can't we get that in universe mode? Especially if it was in like create a story scenario where you can book who's in the rivalry, who else shows up in the rivalry, maybe certain things pop up here and there. That would be really cool. And I think that's where 2K could go just in the future with universe mode. Before, this episode is about to wrap up. We are in our last match here. And I don't want to talk any further after these matches go off. So, that being said, let's finish up here. Let's move on, because I'm still ranting about certain things that I want to get. Triple threat, fatal 4-way, 5-man, 6-man, 8-man, triple threat tag team, fatal 4-way tag team, different rivalry types. He's about to tap out, isn't he? Yep. Samoa Joe just dominated CM Punk. He didn't even have a chance.
Here is your winner, Joe.
That's got to be a tough loss to swallow.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I was kind of blown away by how dominant Samoa Joe was in this match. I'd love to see different types of rivalries. If I could book, because like I said, we're at the end of the series, right? So I'm limited by what we can show. If, for instance, if I right now could book a triple threat rivalry, let's say CM Punk, Samoa Joe, and Jay White, and that was the final rivalry of 2K23, I'd be happy. Because then, let's say at WrestleMania, the winner of that match is just the winner of that match. Whoever walks out with the WWE Championship, that's the championship they walk out with. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is all just kind of wishes and wants, you know, things that I really wish we could get. We have no idea until we get the game, or until 2K really go in depth about what is going to be in the game. This is all kind of just speculation. All kind of just, this is what I really want. This is what I hope we get. But that being said, for what we are getting for 2K24, I am excited. I hope in this whole episode, this hour 27 long talk that we've had, or at least just me ranting, that I didn't want to like come across as I'm not excited for 2K24. I am. And I'm excited to continue the series in universe mode in 2K24. I'm excited to, you know, get back into the swing of things and book new stuff in a new game, in a new model. But that being said, there are some definite wants. Some wants I'd love to see come to the universe mode series. But that being said, we still got a few days, quite a few days, you know, essentially a whole month before 2K24 is playable in our hands. And I don't think that there's like because I got the deluxe edition, so I'll be getting the game 3 days early. And when that happens, ladies and gentlemen, expect to have a little bit of fun with me. In those initial 3 days, I probably will be just streaming the 40 Years of WrestleMania mode. Expect that on the channel. I'll be streaming the My Rise mode. I don't know if I'll finish it. It took me almost the entire life cycle of this game to finish the My Rise in this game. I won't even lie to you. Like, I won't even BS that. It literally took me forever to beat the My Rise in this game. I didn't even touch the Women's My Rise mode. I didn't even touch it. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna let you guys get up out of here. I've been talking long enough. You guys are probably sick of my voice. You know, at times I feel like I don't talk to you guys enough, and then I drop an episode like this where I'm like, I have been nonstop talking for damn near almost an hour and 30 minutes. So just really quick, let's just go over what happened here in this episode of Universe Mode. You know, you probably were distracted by my talking and didn't really get to enjoy the show. So in the first match, Jay White beat Seth Rollins via countout. We hate to see it. In Universe Mode for 2K24, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing away with countouts. I don't know how that's going to affect the game, but expect to see countouts completely disappear in 2K24. There maybe initially there'll be countouts, but at some point I'm turning countouts completely off. I'm done with the countout victories. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I feel like they ruin all the matches. Expect to see the custom superstars in 2K24, like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. They had a good match here on SmackDown. Expect to see that. Tag team matches. Just really quick, when I go to 2K24, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be kind of altering the way I do tag team matches. I want to find a way that's exciting to do tag team matches for everyone. I can enjoy the tag team matches as they are in this game, but not everyone else does. And that being said, these tag team matches, they do go on kind of forever. So they won't be traditional tag team matches anymore. Moving forward in 2K24, there will probably only be tornado tags. Only. Specifically and only tornado tags. That will probably be the new norm. when it comes to tag team wrestling. But that being said, Toni Storm and Ruby Soho are finally the women's tag team champions in 2K23. Mia Yim, she beat Paige. Kind of crazy. Bryan Danielson, he gets another huge victory heading into his match at WrestleMania against Jey Uso. It will be Jey Uso versus Bryan Danielson at WrestleMania. CM Punk got clobbered by Samoa Joe, which in a way is kind of fitting, because if you go back to the Ring of Honor rivalry and their AEW rivalry, Samoa Joe has never lost to CM Punk. I think only recently, at the very last pay-per-view that AEW did, where CM Punk and Samoa Joe were on it, you know, the one where CM Punk ended up getting fired. I think CM Punk beat Joe there. But at WrestleMania, it will be Samoa Joe and CM Punk fighting for the WWE Championship. Oh my God, Shayna Baszler is the women's Money in the Bank holder. And Jay White is still... Yeah, we gotta do something about that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. That's enough of my ranting. Hopefully, you found this episode of 2K24 enlightening. You get to see my views and my thoughts and my excitements and my wishes and wants for 2K24 and the 2K series moving forward. Some crazy ideas that I had that we'll probably never get. Hopefully we do. Hopefully I didn't distract you from the episode playing in the background too much. You know, like I said, I wanted to talk and I ended up talking for the entire episode. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, one final update. The next episode after this is WrestleMania. And I'll be doing that in like 30 minutes. I gotta actually edit the WrestleMania show, edit that card. But then we're going live, so we'll probably be live for like 3 hours doing that. If there's any kind of conversations or discussions, any thoughts and ideas you guys had, anything you want to see in 2K24, let me know. Leave it in the comments. Talk to me. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how your day is going. I guess one final thing. Any rivalries and any matches you want to see in 2K24, leave it in the comments. I promise you, I will see them. And then when 2K24 drops, I will book those rivalries. As of right now, we are in the last rivalries of 2K23. After WrestleMania, we're not doing rivalries necessarily. We'll be doing shows, but I'll kind of be going... They'll kind of be like all-out shows, just kind of throwing everything at the wall. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I've kept you here long enough. Take care. Have a beautiful, beautiful